Hello everyone, welcome to Gochapaa Crypto Talks. My name is Lisa and with me I have Jay. Hi Jay.
Hi.
Today we want to talk about BlackRock BTC ETF. For context, BlackRock filed an application for a spot BTC ETF in June. It will be the first spot BTC ETF to be listed, if at all it will be listed, on a major US stock exchange. This means that the investors will be able to buy and sell shares of ETF on the same platform where they trade stocks. So Jay will give us his insights on the same, and please don't mistake this for financial advice. So Jay, please explain to us what ETF is.
Thanks, Lisa, for having me. I think it's about time this conversation happened. So I'm happy you had me, and we're gonna talk about this. So to answer your question, an ETF is an exchange traded fund, and what that means for a BTC really is we will have an opportunity where institutional traders can now have exposure to Bitcoin through a Bitcoin ETF. Why that was a bit hard for institutional traders is because they move volumes, and and with the regulations and everything, it's hard for them to have that kind of exposure on Bitcoin as is. So it's essentially an exchange traded fund that gives investors exposure to certain asset classes, and in this case BTC. Yes.
What is the significance of the listing, if at all it will be listed?
That's a good question, and there's a lot of buzz around the listing and the BlackRock filing. For context, BlackRock is a 9 to 10 trillion fund, and that's big bucks. It's almost an equivalent of the gold market.
Yeah.
So you imagine such a fund just pumping maybe a good 10-20% of its portfolio into Bitcoin, into a Bitcoin ETF. That would skyrocket the price. That would be a 3-4x for Bitcoin. So it's huge. It's gonna have a lot of impact into BTC. It's gonna drive a lot of adoption. Institutions now will be comfortable investing in BTC through an ETF. Of course, there are sideliners, guys who've just been watching on the side, high net worth individuals who've not gotten exposure to BTC. They now have an opportunity to just go into the ETF and have exposure on BTC. And then maybe just to conclude, an ETF, the nuances of owning crypto are not really easy to the common Joe. Because you need to own a wallet. If it's a centralized exchange, you need to have a wallet. You need to create a wallet. You need to create credentials. You need to move your funds either from a credit card or prepaid card to buy. If it's a decentralized wallet, you need to have your keys in order. So there's a lot of nuances to getting even to own BTC, even for the common Joe on the street. So with an ETF, even the common Joe can just go to their bank and say, look, I want some exposure on BTC, and that can be made possible. So it's as big as it's as big as the announcement of gold back in the day as a commodity and being listed in exchanges where guys would buy, because most people refer BTC as digital gold.
Yeah.
So it's as big as any other listing, if you asked me. Yeah, it's an IPO of sorts.
Yeah.
for BTC. Yeah, that's how I'd look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What impact do you think it will have on the broader BTC market and also on the price of BTC?
That's good. It's good you asked, because even recently with Cointelegraph coming out with, news about the listing having been made, we saw a 20% spike in the price of BTC and even other asset classes.
Yeah.
We have coins like Chainlink that did a 40-50% just through that particular announcement. So you can already anticipate the kind of movement the market will be having, and then that coupled up with the upcoming halving of BTC in April, I think this is one of the biggest news we've seen since the last bull run back in 2020, 2021. So I'm eager. I'm actively sort of buying into the market. And I would urge, not financial advice, but I would urge guys to quickly start looking at the asset class and just get in early. And yeah, my price predictions for BTC at the moment would be 100K to 150 in the next 1 or 2 years. It's very conservative, I must say, because it's not only BlackRock that has listed has filed for this listing. So there's a batch of other funds with equally deeper pockets that would want a piece of the pie. So with these boys coming into the market, we're going to be seeing a crazy adoption of the BTC and also the ETF together. So yeah. Yeah.
And how do you think it will affect institutional investors, participation in the BTC market?
There's going to be a change, sort of a transformation of how institutions would approach Bitcoin. At the moment, there are companies, last I checked, Tesla had some exposure on BTC, MicroStrategy they have some good bags on BTC. In the recent spike, they're said to have made around 700 million plus over their 5 billion holding. So you can imagine what that would mean for companies now being allowed legally to own BTC through an ETF. It would mean there's gonna be a mass entry into cryptos and into BTC. It would mean a possible 10x in the near future, because now the big pockets can come and say, we can put money on these assets because this fund that we so believe in is offering this as a product. Yeah, so institutions are gonna come buying everything they get. And there's only 21 million of these Bitcoins, so there's really little supply and so much demand coming. And for guys who would want to get in early, I think this is the time to go wear your research boots, do your due diligence, and just get your portfolio right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the potential challenges that you think they will face?
That's a good question. So when I look at an ETF, a lot of Bitcoin enthusiasts will not love the whole idea, in as much as big picture thinking, it really means good for the industry. But a lot of Bitcoin fanatics would insist on owning the actual asset. But then again, financial instruments are built this way. That's why banking is as humongous as it is. So what that looks like for me is Bitcoin the risk that institutions face in the short term is for an ETF to exist. Institutions have to own the underlying asset. Yeah, so they own the actual BTC. They go through the nuances of having those wallets and even owning those particular BTCs, and then through that mirror that into an ETF. So the risk to them would be, the recent hacks we've seen with renowned figures like even Mark Cuban having their wallets hacked. So they're not free of such hacks, these institutions. So when such hacks happen, what would that mean for the ETF holders? So those are some of the risks that I see from the get-go. There's also policy. Today it has been listed, and then down the line the SEC comes back and says, we actually don't like the kind of offering or the products that you've packaged for these guys, so you have to recall those again. So there's a lot of policy change of guard. The US is just about to go for an election, and maybe the new guy that comes to office is not interested with the ETF. So there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of unseen risks to it. But in the grand scheme of things, I feel like it's a worthwhile risk. The upside is way too high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but not least, what are the rewards that the investors would get from investing?
Yeah, that's a bit I like. So the rewards are endless. For starters, Bitcoin has outperformed all the other asset classes in the last year. So this particular financial year, so it has outperformed, the Vanguard. It has outperformed gold, silver, and many other asset classes. So by far, you can already anticipate the kind of returns investors will be enjoying from this listing.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot of upside. Of course, comes with its own risks, But then again, I see investors reaping really good out of this ETF. I see a lot of mass adoption. Now, you can walk to your bank and actually ask about a Bitcoin ETF, and they can actually educate you around it, and it can be made a household product. So with regulations and everything, of course, different jurisdictions are going to have different perspectives and approaches to it. But then again, I feel like they now have an opportunity to go to the customers or to go to the investors and say, here is another channel or revenue, another vehicle that you'd ride to make some good returns. So high returns for investors, a lot of adoption for Bitcoin and the crypto and other crypto assets. And the driving of the blockchain gospel ahead. So there's gonna be a lot of goodies around that.
I know I said that was the last question, but
yes.
What advice would you give anyone who would want to invest in BlackRock's BTC ETF?
Wow. Yeah, so my advice, okay, first I'm a sucker for the underlying asset, which is the BTC. But then again, there are guys, the institutional traders, the people who are totally green around the asset and what it does and everything. I always advise a conservative approach, where you first of all want to understand as much as possible to make any financial decision. So I'd urge guys to wear their research boots, do a lot of research around the asset, understand how it works, understand what offering BlackRock is giving, and then look at how that would look for you as an individual. So there are people who are happy, who are not as risk averse, so they're happy to expose their upwards of 50% of their portfolio. The others who are very risk averse, maybe a 2, 3, 10% would suffice. So I always say there's no clear cutout way to invest and get exposure on BTC and crypto. It's just what works for you, what would give you good sleep at night. If 10% exposure does that for you, then that's the right thing to do. If 50% does for you, then that's good for you. And then again, investment money is money you're willing to lose. So so you have no emotional attachment to that money, and do not invest your house rent and stuff like that. So I would advise learn first. If you have no enough knowledge around the sector, do more research, and as soon as you're comfortable, you can now slowly go into that particular market.
There you have it, guys. Please comment down below on your insights that you might have, and see you again. Bye.